Welcome to Transcendence Cinema. Welcome back to Transcendence Cinema. I'm your host, Greg Durrance, and with me is...
Victor Martin.
And on this episode, I decided that we would talk about waking life. So, what were your impressions on this movie? Because I know you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I just knew that it was about dreams, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I was also curious about its animation style. He does this with Scanner Darkly, the sort of like rotoscoping effect that's just bizarre as hell. But in this particular film, it's just like, what other way could you have, portrayed a sort of dreamlike sensation or feeling other than like animation?
Exactly. This captures it perfectly.
It absolutely does, and it's so bizarre and uncanny at times, but it does nothing but benefit the film.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, dude, like this is a type of film that you really have to be in the mood for. I think.
100%. I actually
like,
had to
like, I don't
break it up
think
into
that I know
parts.
that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just deal with dreams. It's like an amalgamation of the human condition,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much like it's essentially an hour and 40 minutes of TED Talks and philosophy. And it's, I loved it. I'm going to be straight up. I love this movie. this
Good. I'm
was,
glad.
this was something I wish I watched like when I was 18 or like, early, like later teen years.
Mm-hmm.
Cause a lot of this stuff, I think, I don't know. I could see this being very, transformative for someone in their those sort of late teen, early 20s years.
Yeah, like before we hit record, I told you I haven't seen this since I was 18. I'm 36 now, so it's been that long.
Mhm.
And it just, a lot of it kind of went over my head because I was an idiot kid and wasn't really crazy about philosophy at the time. So a lot of it just kind of went over my head. But the dream part is why I remembered it being about dreams, because those are the things I held on to and I found fascinating. So, yeah.
What do you think about it now?
I loved it now so much more. Like now that I've had a lot of like life under my belt and really kind of delved into philosophy and stuff like that. Like I love people's take on the world and, like you said, the human condition. It's so fascinating to hear other people's opinions on just everything.
Yeah, because, and especially with this movie too, a lot of what these people are saying, it, like you said, it's people's opinion, but there's also so much like fact to it, and it can either like, uh, it can either like reinforce your perspective or shed new light onto something.
Mhm.
And I just think that's so important as humans, is just to listen to each other.
Yeah, I took some notes before all this, and not many notes, just kind of get my ideas down.
Mhm.
And I wrote something similar to that. I said this film is not about subscribing to others' ideology of life, about life. It's about listening and understand where others are coming from, and
Yeah,
that's so important.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's so easy to think that people are trying to prescribe something or push a sort of narrative or agenda when you don't have to take it that way. It's like, I think that's really easy to turn, become a very sour person. I think a lot
Yeah,
of people just don't want to, they have their own set of ideas, and they like to stick to that, which to each their own. But I don't know. It's so important, I think, to listen to what other people have to say sometimes.
yeah, and I think it's really interesting that you said that, because back when I was a little rebel kid, uh, people would try to give me their opinions on life, and even though I didn't subscribe to it, I wouldn't listen to it because I'm like, I don't want to think like that. I guess
Mhm.
as I'm trying to say, I have my own way of thinking, so I would like shut them out, and that's so detrimental. Like now, I love listening to other people's ideas on life and what they think things are, or what have you. And it is really important just listen to where people are coming from, because you don't have to, like you said, subscribe to it, but just see where they're coming from and just shed some light on your own life.
Yeah, and especially if you're someone who feels alone or confused about the world, you start to realize that uh, everyone is confused and everyone is sort of figuring it out. No one really has it figured out. Maybe in certain areas of their life, but in terms of like the real shit, like the stuff that matters,
Mhm.
who knows? Like,
That's what I was thinking too. Like when I was watching it, it's like, how can there be so many theories, so many really intelligent people with theories, and obviously they're not wrong, but they're not right. It's just a theory.
yeah,
And it's just crazy to think about, because um you can come up with your own theory. Like, I have my own way of thinking about life, and to hear someone really intelligent talking about life, and then another person beside them that's just as intelligent saying a different way of life, just all these theories of things, is just super fascinating.
right. And it makes it hard to really know what the truth is. And then you sort of have to embrace that there might not be like a definitive truth. And especially when it comes to philosophy and stuff like that. I mean, uh, yeah, there's just so many differing opinions. It's like, what am I supposed to believe?
Well, it
I don't
did
know.
get me thinking about philosophy within itself, because a part of me was like, obviously these are just theories, no one's really going to know, so what's the point?
Mhm.
And then that just made me think how boring life would be. Like, how
Yeah.
everything would suck if we didn't think about these things. And this actually brings life into life, is thinking about life. And I found that super interesting once I came to that revelation. Like, we theorize to just make life more interesting, because otherwise it would be so boring.
I absolutely agree. And I think a lot of people could see this film as being pretentious or like pseudo intellectual. But like you said, even if so, it's like, why not think about these things and why not have these conversations? Like, okay,
Mhm.
maybe dreams don't really matter, whatever. Like, but okay, what if they do?
Yeah.
And like, and how can I learn from it? You know,
Mhm.
I mean, stories and ideas. I mean, they're just things we can learn from. And I think if there's a positive to be gained from it, what's what's the harm? I guess. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did have that thought that some of this was pretty pretentious, like the we're all theory, no act. That guy's all
Yeah,
act with no theory. That
yeah,
part I remember being like, God, what a bunch of pretentious fucks. But really, like, what's the harm? They're not hurting anybody. Like, they're just voicing their opinions. You know, they have Alex Jones in there too, going off on the
yeah.
megaphone, and his, ideology on the government and how they're controlling us and stuff like that. And I mean, he can be harmful at times, but
Mhm.
just talking about it, it's good to get
Right.
that stuff out in the universe.
It is. I think. Yeah, I agree. I was. It was surprised to see Alex Jones. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I
But I guess
recognize
he's a
his
Texas
voice.
guy, so
That's true. It just how long he's been famous, because this came out in 2001. So,
yeah, he's been around a lot longer than I imagine.
hmm
Um,
so did this give you any like insight to anything, or tickle your philosophy bone anywhere?
See, this is where I wish I had written like specific moments down. But I didn't really want to pause it. I just wanted to keep like soaking it in.
Yeah, you gotta
Um,
let it just wash over you.
right. And so like a lot of the stuff that they talk about is things I've kind of maybe already been aware of or just like have already thought about.
Hmm.
Um, but I know there was a couple moments, but I'm having a hard time grasping what exactly. Oh damn! I was thinking about it too as I was getting prepared. I'm like, all right, yeah, there's this one part I'm going to talk about. And
Yeah.
Damn
Um,
it. What about you? I guess we'll just move to you.
so one of the ones I really enjoyed was the opening one is the boat ride. Kind of
Mhm.
like just going through life. You're the passenger on a ride and life is giving you crayons, whether it gives you 16 crayons or 24 crayons, just learn to color with them. And I just really subscribe to that a lot because I'm a very like just go with the flow. I'm very much like the dude. Just kind of go with the flow, let things kind of, if you can't control it, don't let yourself worry about it. If you can control it, fix it and then go back to, where you were. That's kind of my philosophy on life, on how to deal with things. Just kind of go with the flow.
I dig that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
That's how I've kind of been living my life for, God, I don't know, since like high school. After high school, I just sort of had this very taking it easy, just going with the flow of things. I mean, you
Mhm.
start to see when people don't do that, how stressful life. I mean, life's going to be stressful no matter what, but like there's
Right.
a certain like
Some people impose that onto themselves though.
no, that's fair.
Hmm.
Um but there's kind of a beauty to taking it easy. Whether you seem naive doing it, it's like I don't want to be like everyone else that's stressing out about this and that. It doesn't have to be.
Right. I have this thing about money, success, and stress and taking it easy kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I have the capability to like be successful in life, but then there comes all this stress and just like people talk about how they cram so much in a day. Like every minute is planned in their day. And I
Yeah.
just like that stresses me out. Like I don't like that at all. Like I want to just go with the flow of life. I don't want every second of my day planned. I don't want 100 million people trying to contact me all the time. So I'm always struggling with you'll be, I'll be more wealthy, but it'll come at a cost of my stress levels and my health and my overall happiness. So
Yeah.
I've found this place where I'm financially comfortable, but I'm also not super stressed either. So I like where I'm at right now.
I love that. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, but that's what just one thing that I think about all the time is people that they think about being wealthy and being successful and it comes with all this stress that and then they don't know how to deal with it. They're always trying to manage their stress, trying to manage their health and stuff like that, and also they have so much stuff going on outside of that and it just I couldn't live like that. I don't want to live like that. So,
Yeah, once you're aware, I think of that sort of living, it's hard to get attracted to that or to be able to do that and not be overwhelmed. It's like once you know something, it's so hard to like get that out of your head or you have a
mhm.
certain sort of mindset towards a way of living or really anything.
Right.
Um, I think one part that stood out to me is when the main character is going down a subway and bumps into a girl and they sort of have this conversation about you know, being stuck in sort of this ant colony
Mhm.
sort of society where we're just moving from place to place. There's nothing in between. It's just going from point A to point B. But they have this like kind of conversation where they talk about, well, let's break that. Let's just meet and talk.
Mhm.
And
I want to see you. I want you to see me.
yes, exactly. And that's something that, man, I wish I don't know why it's so ingrained for us to sort of avoid people
Mhm.
when in like public places, I guess mostly.
Yeah.
We're so sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say I think a part of it feels rude, you know? Like I don't want to bother somebody's day with my bullshit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I would love to have deep conversations, but I don't want to force that onto somebody.
Oh, no, for sure. And I'm not saying like we all need to confront one another and talk about life, but I think
But
even just
no.
like even just acknowledging each other, I think I mean I do it and I know other people do it is, you know, you look at someone, you look away, you sort of pretend they're not there.
Mhm.
And you could just say hi, you could nice shirt, I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
I think we would benefit from I don't know, acknowledging each other as humans, like we're all in this together. I know it's cliche, but like it's just what it is.
Well, I do have to say, I'm sure you've talked to strangers out and about
Mhm.
and had a conversation with a stranger, and then after that, you're never mad about it. You always feel better. You gained something. I don't know what that thing is, but you just feel better that it happened.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to sort of something we talked about in our last discussion. It's just like connection,
Mhm.
and that was another segment too that I liked with the with words and language, and that we try to express these abstract, you know, thoughts or feelings like love and anger and whatnot. Um, but it just kind of comes back to getting that connection from someone and that feeling so fulfilling. It's like what character mentions in that segment of is like it's almost like a spiritual thing. It's like it's such a powerful moment to have when you're having a like a real person to person moment.
Mhm. There's something that I do. I usually do it at work because there's always downtime and you're bullshitting, and I hate small talk.
Hmm.
So I came up with a question to kind of like leap off into those conversations. And I asked people because we're obviously doing a job that we're not like, this isn't what we grew up thinking that we would be doing.
Yeah.
Some people do have that luxury, but you know, I and the people I work with do not.
Right.
So I come up to somebody that I haven't really talked to all that much. And I asked them, I was like, if you could get paid to do whatever you wanted in the world, what would you do? And some of the answers are fascinating, and you really get an insight into people's lives, and that you really get that like human connection, and you get to truly see them.
I love that.
Yeah.
I damn. Maybe I need to spring that question on on a few of my coworkers.
It does spark an interesting conversation because there was this guy, he dresses in camo. He kind of has this like country twang to him, and
Mhm.
he's a pretty cool guy, pretty funny. And then one day I asked him that question. He's like, "Oh, I'd be a DJ." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "I used to be a DJ, but alcoholism took over, and I had to go to rehab, and I had to quit that lifestyle because it fed into my alcoholism. So that's kind of why I work here." I was like, "Wait, what? I did
Wow.
not see that coming at all from you. Like a fucking DJ." So
That's yeah. Damn.
yeah, so you really find out like some interesting things about people because that's the conversations that I want to have with people. And people at work probably think I'm an asshole because I don't really talk much because the I hate gossip. I don't want to hear about other people's lives, like why they're in trouble or them and their girlfriend. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care to talk about the weather. Like I seen this thing going on around online. It's like um I don't care about da da da, but just tell me what age you were when it all went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it lead to much more fulfilling conversation.
Yeah, it'll go back to like what you said before. You don't feel so alone because other people have gone through the same things that you have gone through.
Right. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's sunny out. No shit. Like, what? Cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, here
let's.
in Florida, it's like, oh, it's raining. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
I'll even wipe my eyeballs. I didn't see that.
Yeah, right. The one where the lady and Ethan Hawke were laying in the bed and they
Mhm.
were talking. She was talking about how she feels like an old lady and she's just watching her life catch up to her old self.
Oh man.
Um, that was kind of like it led me down this weird rabbit hole of thinking of me. My parents got together and had me, but before that, their parents got together and had them, and then before that, you know where I'm going. Like
Yes.
it's an endless cycle of just creating humans. And we all know this. We talk about family trees all the time, but you have to like really think about it. Like we're just constantly making humans all the time. And that just like kind of buried its way into my head and I couldn't stop thinking about it because I have this theory of my personal theory on life is like people like to quote the Big Bang as like that's where it started.
Hmm.
I came across a theorist, I don't remember his name, but he said everything is kind of a loop. The universe is always overlapping on itself. And I kind of like that, but mine is like we're in a constant state of go.
Hmm.
Like the universe has no beginning, no end. It's just constantly on a state of like going. And that's what got me thinking about the whole like we're just constantly making humans. And that's kind of my metaphor of like how the universe is doing. It's just constantly just doing things and there's no beginning, there's no end.
Oh, that's
So,
fascinating.
yeah. That's just my little way of thinking of things.
I wish I had something to add to that. Damn. Oh, you stumped me.
No, I was sitting at work all day thinking about this movie and thinking about little theories and how I view life and stuff like that. And it's a very nihilistic way of thinking of things on how I think about life because there's no consciousness, before you were born. And I don't feel there's any consciousness when you're dead. We're just kind of, and I was thinking about this and I was like, how can I like give a like visual metaphor of what I'm trying to say? And I was thinking
Mhm.
about a glass of milk. And you know how you blow bubbles into it?
Yeah.
The glass of milk is the universe. And when you blow bubbles in it, you're creating somebody. And then the bubble pops and they are nothing. And then another bubble and then it's gone. And I was like, that's kind of how I feel about life.
Interesting that the universe will always be there, but it's like we're just bringing in life, and then
And then it goes away. And we're just here for a moment in this universe's ride. I don't know.
I mean, no, I mean, I kind of agree with that. It's kind of it makes it seem a little pointless, but also not because we're taking up space in this moment
Hmm.
and we're making an impact in some way in this space, and then we're just like a memory to someone else when we're done,
Hmm.
and then that's all there is.
Yeah. That's one thing I always think about is leaving a mark. Like even after you're dead, you have that thing and eventually it always goes away. This is one thing that's like really bugged me because no matter how famous you are, after a certain moment in time, you're just not thought. Because you can think about
Mm.
like the Mayans. We think about Mayans as a colony of people,
Mhm.
but you don't think of like one single Mayan. Like there was no like great
Right.
Mayan that's lived on. So when this colony of us, this culture, you know, 1,000 years down the road, nobody's gonna really remember many of us. And so that really bothers me because I like the idea of leaving something behind, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be forgotten eventually anyway. So there is a point of like, it is sad that we're only here for a moment and it doesn't matter. But at the same time, we can do whatever we want and you should enjoy it because life has so much to offer. There's so much beauty around us.
Yeah, I like the saying that uh, everything matters and nothing matters all at the same time.
Yes, that's like, I want to get that tattooed on me.
Yeah. But bro, it's so for you to say that no one's gonna remember us, they're gonna remember Dwayne the Rock Johnson though. Like they will remember him. Like how could they not? It's history books 100 years from now. His name will be printed in the
You
books.
think he's
Just
that big?
look, dude, it's Dwayne. I mean,
Yeah. He's
but
actually not even a real person. He's gonna outlive all of us. He's an android.
he'll be the symbol of America.
Like from Idiocracy. Oh.
Shoot.
Yeah, when they remember America, they're gonna remember Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I put my money on it.
Yeah.
Um, fuck, I think I was going to say something about the leaving a mark, but shit.
Yeah, because I always think about that. Like, what can I do to like leave my mark? And then a part of me is like, it doesn't matter because in 1,000 years, nobody's gonna remember.
Yeah, I guess that's a tough one. That's sort of a personal, like, does it
Yeah.
matter that no one's going to remember you in 1,000 years? They
Right.
might. Who knows? But like, I don't know.
It's just one of those ego trip things that we all
Maybe a little
inherently
bit.
have, I think, as humans.
I mean,
Um,
because I feel that same way too with my work. I'm like, am I going to be? I mean, I think about it sometimes. Like, will I be part of like the new wave of avant-garde filmmakers? I guess for those listeners who don't know, I make films, and uh, they're avant-garde shit, sleepy time,
shit.
NyQuil shit.
They
But
are. I love that stuff because it taps into something that a lot of films don't tap into, and it's it's a form of expression that can be interpreted so many different ways. Like watching one of your films, if you get 10 different people to watch that single film, they're all going to have a different take from it. And that's one thing that I love about avant-garde.
yeah, I mean that's sort of what I think. Thinking about the films I've made, it's like I don't really know what I'm doing when I'm making them.
Hmm.
I'm sort of like it's sort of like waking life. I don't know if I'm dreaming this. I don't know if this is real. Who cares?
Yeah,
But
you're tapping into your subconscious and letting it come through creatively. That's how I always like to think about it.
I, yeah, that's pretty spot on. And I think kind of like with this movie, it's so many different interpretations on screen and trying to like trying to express something intangible or just very mysterious in like a tangible way.
Hmm.
I mean, one thing I kind of like about this movie is that there is some really huge concepts and ideas, but it's not, um, it's not too hard to grasp what's being said. There's a couple segments where I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But for the most time, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is very digestible, I guess was what I'm trying to say. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that a film like this, where it's an hour and 40 minutes of people talking, where there's, it's digestible, I guess. It's just,
Hmm.
you can follow it and not get totally lost, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do think it speaks a lot to waking life also because there are moments in waking life that I feel aren't too introspective. They're just kind of there. They're not trying to.
Mhm.
I don't think they're trying to say anything deep, like the prison scene where the
Yeah,
guy's like, "When I get out of here, I'm gonna hurt you guys and whatever." I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of just a throwaway
right.
scene." But it lets you digest the other ones a lot easier because you have that contrast. Like, this scene isn't heavy, so the next scene that's coming up probably will be heavy, and it gives me a break, a mental break.
Right. Because pretty soon into, I mean, not soon into this, but after some time, I'm like, damn, is this really going to be the whole movie? It's just these conversations. And I think it works. I don't know. I mean, there's a bit of a narrative, but it's so damn loose. It's like, honestly, you just have this on in the background and just sort of listen to it, almost like a podcast in a sense.
Definitely. They are. Yeah, it's like mini podcasts. Like you said, TED Talks just strung together.
Right. Have you?
So the hmm?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just gonna say, so the first half is kind of like philosophy, and then you reach this point where it does become about like dreams. And I did want to talk about those a little bit because that's kind of the reason I found this film so interesting, and I find dreams fascinating.
Mhm.
Um, Not touching on anything within the movie, but do you remember your dreams?
Um, there's sometimes, uh, but it will be like, especially if I'm just waking up, remembering a dream.
Hmm.
Like the other day, I woke up and I'm like telling my girlfriend, I'm like, oh, I had just had the weirdest dream, but I have no idea how to explain it to you. Like, and so then I just sort of think about it and then just drift off. And it's like I don't even know what the hell I was even thinking about. But there's like dreams from my childhood that I remember. There's like two in particular.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you want me to talk about them or just
Yeah, you give one, I'll give one.
okay. I mean, they're pretty short. One of them is I was pretty young. I was downstairs in my kitchen and I wasn't able to speak. Like my mouth was shut or something, and I had been put under this like spell from hold up from a Pokemon. A Pokemon had
Okay.
put the spell on me. Is it Clarify? What the hell is it?
I'm not sure. I'm out of the Pokemon loop, so
Well,
Clefairy.
Clefairy, I think it was Clefairy, had put the spell on me, yeah. And I couldn't speak, and I was trying to yell up to my parents upstairs, and I couldn't. But this was like such a nothing dream, but for some reason, I had that when I was like single digits. Like this is way back, and
Hmm.
I don't know why I remember that. I don't know. So I've tried to like decode it over the years. Like, what does that mean? I've given up. I don't know.
Yeah, mine was I was in the living room and I heard some commotion in my bedroom, and I went to go check and the door was locked. But I was able to peek under the door crack and I seen the shadows of something moving around, and then it started to sound like monsters. So I just went back in the living room scared because I didn't know what was going on. Now that I think about it, I think it was my parents fighting.
That
Just
yeah.
decoded it just now.
There you go. Wow, look at that. 20 years, 20 plus years of experience will do someone. 30 plus years.
Yeah, 30 plus years because I
Yeah.
was single digits in that one. That's one that
Okay.
stuck with me. Um, I remember my dreams almost every night, like
Really?
99% of the time. Yeah. And they're very vivid, and I can wake up and tell you exactly what happened down to the detail.
Wow, that's impressive. Is
It's
that something that you've just like tried to pay attention to over the years or just natural?
I thought everyone did this.
Okay.
But the more I talk about it with people, they're like, "How do you remember all your dreams so clearly?" I was like, "I thought everyone could. I didn't know I was weird." Um, so that's my little history with dreams. That's why I find them so fascinating, is because I wake up and I can remember them, but I can usually decode them pretty easily. Somebody said something like dreams are just you shuffling papers away, like of that day.
I like that.
And once I heard that and I woke up after a dream, I was like, that makes so much sense. It was just everything in that day, kind of like in a bowl, a mixing pot, and then getting like shoved away.
Yeah. Do you think
Um,
there's like I mean, it sounds like you find meaning in dreams. Is that true?
I can. I'm pretty good at like knowing what most of them mean, but there are times where like I have constant dreams about losing teeth, but
Yeah.
I've heard that comes like if you're really stressed, you start thinking about losing your teeth. That's a reoccurring theme.
Yeah. I had that one actually in the last few weeks. I mean, it's weird when there's dreams like that are reoccurring. Like, why do so many people have dreams of teeth falling out?
Yeah.
And it's
When
like,
I was
yeah.
I was just gonna say when I was looking up Waking Life, somebody started a channel, the meaning of, and then it would have like whatever you dreamt about, like leather or butter or whatever, whatever have
Yeah.
you, and they like explain what that means in a dream for for most people. So so it is pretty interesting how you can like kind of decode dreams like that and how we're all. But it seems so like I don't know. We all live the same life, but we all have different experiences, so it can't mean the same thing for two different people. Like mine could be stress, but yours could be something else, you know?
Yeah, I think there there might be something in dreams that we can draw from. Um, but I think when it comes to like I don't know, other people's dream interpretations, that feels just like too subjective.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, like yours, your dream about teeth could be about anxiety and whatnot. Mine can't, maybe isn't. And
Mhm.
I just think, yeah, that's sort of a tricky one to really say for certain. I mean, dreams are already mysterious as hell, but like meanings behind dreams, yeah, that feels too personal. Like only you could answer that.
Okay. So I'll go a little bit deeper with the the dreams. So I have a reoccurring dream, and I find. Let me preface this by saying, you know how I was talking earlier, how like my parents made me, their parents made them. Like I am all those people before me, and you are all those people before you. So their DNA is being passed down through generations. There are pieces of my ancestors' DNA still living inside of me, right?
Hmm.
So I have this notion that I still have experiences from things from way in the past. So I have this reoccurring dream of me running on all fours. And it feels so real and natural. But I don't know how to run on all fours, like, obviously.
Yeah.
But in my dream, there's something about it that feels natural. And I wake up, and this is one that I can't decode because I was thinking about it the other day. We have dreams about falling because we know what the sensation of falling is like. Um,
Hmm.
we can only have dreams of things that we know of, right? We've experienced them. So that's why we're having the dream. We're just reliving that experience. I don't know how to explain why it feels so comfortable running on all fours in my dream when I've never done that in my life.
Huh. Yeah. I Yeah, because I guess dreams are just sort of memories and things that we've picked up on. It is interesting for you to feel so natural as like I don't know, is it like an animal that you are, or is it just like you but running on four?
It's me, but running on all fours. Like I feel like I'm grabbing the ground and like pulling myself forward, and this like momentum, and then my back feet catch me. And then I just keep doing that over and over. But it just weirds me out how natural and comfortable it feels. Like I don't ever want to stand up and just walk on all 2 feet. I would prefer to just run on all fours.
Interesting.
It's one of the most reoccurring dreams that fascinates me the most.
How long has that been going on for?
Oh, years.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Like at least once every 6 months, I'll get a really intense dream like that.
Maybe you're just someone who needs to be like
I need to be let loose.
let right.
I am
Exactly.
feral. I am being held down by this society.
I remember all those fucking workouts you're posting online. Like you're trying to get like you're trying to break out of the
I'm
cage, bro.
trying to become an animal.
Exactly. There you go. You just decoded it.
Well, the reason I preface the whole like ancestry thing is because we have the evolution. We came from apes and they walk on all fours. Even when they run, they're running on all fours.
Hmm.
And I wonder if there's something buried deep down in our DNA that's kind of like blooming in my dreams.
Well, I mean, we kind of touched on this with altered states.
Hmm.
There, like you said, there is that DNA that goes way back,
Yeah.
and instincts that we are just part of us. And so like memories and whatnot and dreams, I don't like, I don't know. I could see that being a possibility that these things are just kind of ingrained into our structure.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
that's kind of why it made me want to pick this, so I could talk about dreams, so I could literally talk about this specifically because of altered states.
okay. It all comes full circle.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know, that's the part that really fascinates me is if we do have this DNA that's like buried deep inside of us, if one day we could tap into it and kind of like, I don't know, peer into it,
Hmm.
I don't know, it would be fascinating.
All right. Sorry, I just had to unlock the door for my brother.
No worries. You have a brother? I didn't know you had a brother.
Yeah, he's stopping by for some reason. I have no idea why, but yeah, he's God. How old is he now? 23? No, 20. He's early 20s.
You
Yeah.
don't remember your brother's age. How far apart are you age wise?
He was born in 99. I was born in 96,
So
so
3
3 years
years
apart.
apart. So
So yeah,
he's
he's
23.
20. Yes, that's correct.
I do that with my brother. We're 4 years apart. I'm 36, so he's 32.
It's just the easiest way to do it. Yeah. Oh, okay. What were we?
We were just talking about dreams, and I was gonna ask, do you subscribe to any dream philosophy, like when we go to sleep, we're waking up in another dimension, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, I I don't think so. Um, I don't know. I don't really see it as like we're tapping into some sort of like alternate dimension. It sounds cool. It sounds badass,
Right.
but it's funny though because it's like one of those subjects that's so who knows what's going on here. Like even to this day, I'm not up to date on my science journals and whatnot, but from the last I've heard, dreams are still pretty mystifying. We don't quite grasp them.
Hmm.
Um, so sorry, what?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I kind of feel the same way, but it goes back to like, um, they may not mean anything, but it's cool to just think about what they could be, even though it's not true. It's that's why like you said, it's cool to think about us waking up in another dimension. But
But I think like at the same time, there's a lot to pull from. I don't think there's no meaning in dreams. I just, it, I mean, but then again, man, so much of the world is so mysterious. But I think at the very least, there's something to pull from dreams, whether it's knowledge or ideas. I mean, God, I can think about all the artists and thinkers of the world who've attributed dreams as of bringing them like great ideas, that being like the source of ideas and creativity.
I think David Lynch talks about that. He says a
It
lot of his
does.
ideas just come from his dreams.
Yes, and catching the big fish, and I think there's a lot of good dreams can do, and a lot that like a good source of inspiration.
Hmm.
But and like the sci-fi sort of stuff, like alternate universes, I don't know. I I'll say it's cool. I'll say it's cool, but
Yeah, it's cool to think about, but not to actually like believe in it.
I don't know. Maybe down the road when I become more unhinged, when I'm like 67, I'll be like, oh yeah, my brain's just wires at this point.
I'm in a dream now. I want to go back home. You go back to sleep.
What do you what do you think about like this right now is a dream?
It kind of freaks me out a little bit to think
Yes.
about it too hard because the guy in the waking life, he said dreams are only real until they're over. And he said, can't you say the same about life?
Yeah,
And I was like, fuck, he's
dude.
right.
I love movies like this, but then like I also am just like, damn it.
Yeah,
I didn't really want to start thinking about that right now, but here we are.
exactly. You laying in bed just contemplating your whole life, like, "Is this a dream? Am I real?"
I
That's
mean, that's
why
yeah,
I was gonna say that's why I said I kinda just go with the flow. I try not to think about it too hard, like, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna die. This is not necessarily die, but I mean, obviously, I am gonna die, but I'm saying if this is a dream, it's gonna be over eventually. I don't know
yeah,
when that's gonna be, and if I think about that too much, then I'm wasting time thinking about something that's gonna happen when I could just be thinking about enjoying myself. Like, I
yeah.
just got a Banksy book in the mail. I want to read and enjoy that and input that instead of thinking about something that's gonna is inevitable. You know, does that make sense?
It does, and like you said, it doesn't. Okay, if this is a dream, like you said, we're gonna wake up in a sense, wake up or go to sleep, no
Mhm.
matter what. And so, like, and I have that thought sometimes where I've had this thought where I think, what if I'm actually dead right now? And like, this is just like dream or
Matrix.
memories or the Matrix. Yes. uh, and the Sentinels are behind it. I'm being controlled, but no, I feel like that's a dangerous rabbit hole to go down because for some people that could just be like, oh well, this is doesn't matter then what I do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up eventually, but like you said, you could go down the rabbit hole or you could just enjoy it, even if it is a dream. It's still a beautiful one. You can still feel things, you can have sensations and
Mhm.
emotions. And so, like, I don't know. It almost, yeah, like it doesn't matter. I think it's a
That's why
possibility, but
that's why they call it the present because it's a gift.
boom.
But
Look at you. That's yep. I subscribe to that.
yeah. Um yeah, there's a lot of people though that kind of like I was thinking about it today that kind of zombify through life
Hmm.
and it makes me so sad for them. Like I try to consume as much art as I can. Music, movies, painters, well just everything. There are so many people that have so much to offer and there are some people that just go through the motions of life. They wake up, they go to work, they go home, they, watch their reality TV and they go to sleep. And they just do that over and over. And I
Yeah.
was like, the world has so much more to offer. Why are you not exploring it? And it drives me absolutely insane that people don't wake up.
Yes.
That's the dream. That's the sleep I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah. I've done a lot over the years to be more present because for a long time I had felt like a real detachment from life,
Hmm.
and so I've been trying to focus a lot on just the most minute details of life because that sort of stuff I can find a lot of joy in these days. Whether that's like a reflection of light on the wall or a shadow or just like a flower, like so much of this stuff, if you learn to like appreciate these little gestures that life gives us,
Hmm.
um, man, it can really enrich your life. Like just like for me, I just every week I try to at least a few times a week go see the sunset. I'll go drive to the beach and go see the sunset because like that is what makes this shit worth it is these experiences of the natural earth of human experiences. um, if you can learn to consume more of that and like culture and art like that, you're doing so much good for yourself. And so it is sad to see people who will just like just be zombified going through life and just going through what has been constructed for them to do. Sucks to see.
Hmm.
It's
And I
very
do
sad.
love that you said that because someone made a list of like um, very minute things that you can pay attention to in life to appreciate life more. The one that sticks out is try to listen to the bass line of a song.
Hmm.
Um, because they always say like the bass is the emotion of the song. And I'm
Oh,
not
I like
talking
that.
about like rap bass. I'm talking about like if you're listening to a rock song, like the bass is almost like you almost can't hear it. But if you can really zone in on the bass and really hear what he's doing, it's just like elevates the song to a new level.
That's
And
a great analogy, yeah, for life too.
yeah, exactly. But there was a list of them. I wish I could remember, but it was exactly what you were saying. And that's so true. Like one of my favorite things is paying attention to people's mannerisms.
Okay.
And I just everyone has like their own little mannerism and it's just they fascinate me. But that's just my little thing. Like just for a offhanded example, have you seen Shrek?
Yeah.
Um the girl Shrek, she whenever she says something that she's like she does like a little snicker. And I love that they like added that in there because it's purposeful because it's animated obviously.
Right.
But it's just those little moments that if you can pay attention to in another human being, that's another glimpse into like making life more pleasurable. Like those just like little tiny moments.
Yeah, and it can be I don't know. It can I don't it's is it ever overwhelming to you to have all these like little things that you can like all these over I mean all these like little positive notes like
It
is it ever like like overstimulating, I guess.
it can, but I try to direct myself onto. I'm I'm conscious about what I'm doing, I guess. So
Yeah,
I try to focus in on one at a time. I try not to let them overtake each other. Um,
that makes sense.
I do like the sunset one though, because I don't do it much anymore, which I need to get back to. I would get my camera and I would go on a really long walk, and I would just take pictures of moments that just felt right.
Mhm.
When you look at something and you're just like, God, that's such a beautiful thing. So I try to capture it in a picture. So that's one thing that I used to try to do.
I think as photographers and artists, I think we have um a real advantage when it comes to seeing beauty in things. I mean, obviously everyone can,
Hmm.
but I think with like artists, it's we can almost see like we can peel back another layer and find beauty in God, eh, ba- almost anything. I mean, even
Hmm.
like a pile of shit on the side of the road, if it's composed nicely, you
Yeah.
know, the lighting hits it just right. You're like, wow, golden hour shit. That's oh yeah,
it's it's because when an artist is taking a picture, they're not taking a picture of an object. They're not taking a picture of a person. They're taking a picture of an emotion. And
damn right. Hmm.
they're just trying to convey that emotion through their picture, through their art. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah. But as that's pretty much all I got for dreams and philosophy, I'm kind of tapped out now because of this movie.
That's totally fine. I'm struggling to pick up on what to say next. I mean, dreams are weird. And yeah.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the film. I kind of figured you would, but you never know.
Yeah, no, I it remind me of why I like Linklater's work, especially his early stuff.
Hmm.
Did you ever see Slacker?
No, but people talk about it all the time.
This reminds me so much of Slacker, where it's just like little vignettes of people uh talking or just weird characters being introduced and sort of talking about all these random subjects. That you might like that one. It's obviously not as surreal or it's very grounded, but it's very much paced in a similar way.
Well, I know
Uh,
Slacker did start a like indie movement. It was like the jumping point into like the early '90s indie movement.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it definitely was.
Yeah, I never
Um,
seen it because I just never got around to watching it, but I'll have to check it out because I
yeah,
do like his other work, like Dazed and Confused. That's a classic.
yeah. Days of Confused is great. I think you'd like it. But yeah, do you want to go into ratings? Do you have anything else to say?
I don't have anything else to say. I think I talked myself out. Rating, I give this. God, what do you give this? Um, I'm leaning on an eight.
Hmm.
An eight feels right to me because I don't know. I'm just gonna say eight.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna say honestly, I'm gonna say 5 stars.
Five.
I'm gonna do it. Oh, dude, I'm gonna do it. um, yeah, I really gelled with it,
Yeah,
and it's like definitely one that I would have to be in the mood to like sit down and watch. So I can't see like me replaying it often, but it just I just love the style. I love the topics. I like its free flowing nature. Um, and I don't know. It's just a lot of talking, and I like that sometimes. And I think Linklater does it in a way that's entertaining and digestible and a trip to watch. And so it's just an all around thought provoking and entertaining film. I
that's what I was gonna say. Thought provoking. It's just good to just get those, have other people's inputs to kind of get your mind going, like a starting off point to
yes,
thinking about things. But your rating is a 5 out of 5, though, right?
it is. I and there's like there are some moments where I was like, man, this is kind of long. Like, can I take an hour and 40 of this? And there's like certain things that I wasn't too um I don't know, just some ideas that I wasn't really too interested in. But I think just the way it made me feel and just these sort of just I guess the it's just different and experimental, and I just really appreciate that. And it also made me cry. I don't know why. I just had this like feeling towards the end where I was just like kind of overwhelmed, I guess. Just like, damn.
It
Like,
is very overwhelming. Yeah,
and it just made me kind of think about life in a way that I really enjoy. Just kind of focusing on the strangeness and all these mysteries of life that are just I find to be always just so interesting. So just touched a lot of things that I really enjoy in life and living. So
well, cool. I'm glad
yeah,
we both got something out of it because it was a thrill to revisit this. I probably will revisit it again very soon.
yeah, that was a great pick. Great
Yeah.
pick.
Well, I don't have anything else, so I guess that's we'll wrap it up for this one.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Well, until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.
Bye bye.